Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. It's time for the Battle of Thoroughfare Gap on Ultimate General Civil War, the Union Campaign on Legendary Mode, and taking the advice of some of you who are wiser on army builds than I am, I'm actually placing a bunch of 500-man brigades in my second corps to bring down the scaling. Because it brings down the average of each size. Before I put these 5 brigades in, his army was at, I think, 20,200 men for the Battle of Thoroughfare Gap. Let's see where it is now. It's down to 18,957, so it seems to be coming down by a couple of hundred for every one of these brigades that I produce. So I've got a ton of extra major generals right now because of all of the promotions that I've received because of my brigadier generals. So we're going to go ahead and replace these division commanders with some of these major generals, even though we're really not going to use them right now. But I'm going to keep on doing this. And I'm going to go ahead and fill up another brigade, and we'll see where they're at that point. Okay, so there's another full division of 500-man infantry brigades, and let's take a look at it at this point. Originally 20,200, I've added 10 brigades with 500 men, and now his number's all the way down to 15,956, a much more manageable number. Now I'm going to go ahead and top off a few of my units here, or at least get them to something of a less annoying number. So 17,500 there, we'll go to, I don't know, 1925 there's good. Carroll's Marauders, we'll go to 1825. I've got Berdan's sharpshooters right here. Princess of Wales, I'm going to give them morale, melee, and stamina. And we'll get them up as long as we keep the 2 stars here. Give them a few. Veterans, there we go. Fighting Finns, let's get them to a nice round 1750. Nicholas, I think we'll keep right where he is. He's a relatively new unit anyway. So that gives me 10. That gives me 12-pounders, 12-pounders, 20-pounders, sharpshooters, and then a bunch of units I'm not using. So let's see what the final number is going to look like as we get into this battle. This should be a pretty easy one because I've got a good, strong defensive position. So I'm going to have 12,000 up against 16,000. I think that should be good. Let's dive in. All right, so there's a couple of different ways you can do this, and the AI seems to react differently depending on how. One strategy would be to put part of my army down here to, of course, hit him as he crosses the water while I'm in the cover of the woods, and that certainly gives me a lot of advantages. The objective, of course, is right here in the open. And then hold back here and let him cross the water and just hit him up there and just keep my forces close to each other. Another idea would be to spread out more and to kind of hold in along right here and hit him as he crosses the water. Same with down here. The only disadvantage to that, which is the strategy I'm going to try here, is that I'm spread out further. And so if he concentrates all of his forces on one side or the other, it's going to be a problem. But if he kind of spreads out a little more as well, then I should have an advantage in doing that. Of course, he's also going to attack from up here, so I have to be prepared for that, which means I'm just going to break off a couple of skirmisher units at least at the start to kind of deal with that, and then I'll eventually be able to turn folks around, assuming by that point that I've already done enough damage to his other units that I can spare a full brigade somewhere to go after him. Now, the big danger here is that he goes around the water altogether and hits me from up here, so I've got to rush to that side just to stem any possibility of that at the start. Same thing down here. I think I'm just going to send some skirmishers down to this bottom half here because that's the furthest from the objective, and so it seems to me that's the least likely place that he's going to send a major attack. So let's get the Fighting Finns down in here. Ohio Outlaws right in here. Actually, I'm going to hold Nicholas in the center because he's kind of my weakest unit. Send these 24-pounders up there. And then once I'm in position and I understand what he's doing, then we can talk a little bit about the historic Battle of Thoroughfare Gap. There's really not a lot to discuss. It was a really small battle, but with major consequences. So small in numbers, but pretty significant strategically. This was basically a battle that was fought between one division on the Union side under James Ricketts and an entire corps, or about half of the Confederate Army under James Longstreet. Let's rush these guys, get them there a little faster. The significance of this battle is that Jackson, I think, was about a day ahead of Longstreet, and so they were trying to reunite the army. Obviously, you don't want to stay divided like that when you are already a much smaller force. This is after the disaster of the Peninsula Campaign for the Union. So John Pope's in charge of a separate army, the Army of Virginia, as McClellan's forces are still making their way up from the peninsula. And so Ricketts is there to hold Thoroughfare Gap and basically keep the Confederate Army from reuniting. And after a relatively light number of casualties, he pulls out and allows the Confederates to reunite. So I'm just waiting to see what he's going to do here. All right, so he's got some skirmishers that are kind of coming up into the center. Of course, this is the problem, is that I've got this gap in my line here. So I've got to be careful. In fact, I think I'm going to shift over just a tad. Or maybe not. I've got to move up a little bit, though, because I'm not quite where I need to be in terms of being able to catch him in the water. There we go. But yeah, there's the problem. We let him cross too easily right there. After these guys fire, I need to move these 24-pounders up. Okay, so far so good here. Yeah, so the good news is here, he's going after the sharpshooters, but then I've got these 20-pounders and I've got Nicholas being able to fire into their flanks. But the fighting Finns are about to have a little problem on their hands if Drayton fires on his flank. Okay, I think we're solid here. We can probably shift the Wolverines over. It appears he's not coming at the extreme flanks. Although he is starting to look like he might do that over here. So we'll send the Wolverines over. I don't remember exactly what time that attack's going to come in from the north side, but I know it is coming. I've got to be careful here. Let me pause for just a second. I want to look at the numbers so far. So I've lost 160 men. Inflicted, wow, just about 3,000 casualties. So, all right. So far, so good. All right, let's press on. This might get a little hairy here. I don't know if these skirmishers are going to be enough. Hopefully I can catch him as he crosses. Yep, so far so good. Nice. Perfect. And as long as we do the same thing to Jenkins, we'll be good there. Seems like he's maybe kind of given up the fight over here. So let's go ahead and shift Carroll's Marauders. Let's pull these guys back now. Yep, those skirmishers are toast. Alright, this attack from the north should be coming at some point fairly soon. Let's see if we can get our 20 pounders firing on these guys out here. Well, 20 pounders firing on that battery was enough to get him to pull it back. Oh, we just wiped somebody out. He's trying really hard to get around me down here. Let's get these skirmishers down here to counter that. Look at that. He's just sitting right there in the water. Oh, that's lovely. I'm going to send Carroll's Marauders up here so we can get ready for that unit to arrive from the north. I've lost 300 men, and we've taken out almost 6,000. Come on, guys, hit them. All right, we gotta get a volley on these guys while they're in the water. Come on. If they get across, I'm in trouble. There we go. Hit him again. Hit him again. Okay, his morale's low enough now that he's not firing volleys. They're just firing kind of piecemeal. All right, he's getting across here. We gotta be careful. Here it comes. All right. All right, Wilcox got across. That is no good. But he's not going to stay there. The only problem is Law is sneaking away, so we're going to have to go chase him now. Send these skirmishers down and around to try and get on the other side of him. turn these 20-pounders around too. And I think we can move the 24-pounders. Most of the action's right here in the center now. Oh yeah, a couple of these units are probably going to disintegrate. Alright, this is a bit of a problem. There, he routed. So we've got this guy caught in the rear now. So the question becomes, can we capture him? We're gonna send 3 brigades because I don't need them anywhere else right now. All right, I think we can speed things along. Hit him, hit him. Don't let him disintegrate. Let's capture these guys. Hold your fire, hold your fire. Don't fire. Capture him, please. There's not going to be any of them left by the time I capture him, because there we go. Evander Law is now a guest of the Union Army. And man, is he trying to load up on that center with what he's got left. Let's see where we're at. So I've lost 600 men. He's down to just 4,000 men left in his army. Beautiful. Now we'll get some more troops here on the line to help out. Benning's about to cease to exist. Oh, nice day for Ohio Outlaws. Over 2,300 kills with 164 deaths. 2,200 kills for the Fighting Finns. 1,800 kills for my 24-pounders. They're taking some casualties. Not entirely sure why. But we'll pull him back. It must be coming from his artillery. If I had some cavalry, this would be the point in which I'd send them riding behind the lines to wipe him out. But I'm pretty content to do things the way we're doing them here. Look at all that rebel dead along the water. Man, that is beautiful. All right. Yeah, I think we'll wrap that one up right there. So you can see there he had about 16,000 men against my 12,000 or so. We lost 726 infantry, 3 guns, 77 men, inflicted 11,000 casualties, captured those 443. Only took out one of his guns, but that's because the batteries were way back behind the lines. So we grabbed some 1,300 1855s. That'll come in handy. I've got plenty of weapons. Ohio Outlaws, 3,200 kills, 224 losses. Fighting Finns, almost 2,600 kills. These other units still did really, really well. They just weren't the ones in the center of the action. So they didn't do quite as much. His artillery caused the most damage to me, 233 kills. None of his infantry killed more than 100 men. So I'm very happy about that as we head into the second battle of Bull Run. So I'm definitely going to take some time to think about that. That'll be happening this weekend sometime. But you can see it's impossible to know what his numbers are right now, just because we only see kind of that beginning stage of it with the 8,500 men at the beginning there at Groveton. But I'm definitely going to build a bunch of small units, which will help kind of manipulate the scaling a little bit, and then we'll max them out before we go into the main second battle of Bull Run. So I'll have to try and figure out exactly how I want to build this army. Usually, second battle of Bull Run, I go for the quick, easy day one victory, but I think I want to try and cause significant damage to his army if I can. So I'll probably go for the longer strategy to do that. So let me know your thoughts, not only on Thoroughfare Gap, but on second Bull Run, what you think works, what you think I should go for. And then we'll go from there. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't done that already, please do. And we'll see you again in a couple days with the second battle of Bull Run. Thanks.